Peace, family. We are now live. Black Magic 363. Illuminati Congo. Family, let me know if you can hear me.
Hey,
Let me know if you can hear me because my headphones wasn't picking up.
I hear you.
Good. My brother Illuminati Congo hears me. What's good, family? We're going to have a great show, a esoteric show for y'all tonight. Uh, Make sure y'all share this video. Make sure y'all hit the like button. You can hear that's good. Okay. Shout out to Jay's Fit Life Plant Based Quickies. Always tuning in. Yaya, another regular. Peace to Yaya, the Queen Yaya. Yaya Selassie. Always tuning in. All right. Shout out to everybody else tuning in. I see y'all. We about to get started, family. Let's get to a few ads, and then we gonna get started, family. Like I said, it's gonna be an esoteric show throughout the course of this year. We're continuing to understand who we are. We are multi-dimensional beings. We're a complex being. We're not just a human flesh. We're way deeper than that, family. And we've been lied to about a whole lot. So we're gonna get to the bottom of a lot of things this year, and it's up to you to decide what resonates with you. And hopefully everybody that watches this platform can grow and learn and elevate their consciousness through watching this. So with that being said, family, let's get to a few ads and we'll be right back and we're going to get started. All right.
Hey there! Had a bad dream? I have dreams too. Some parts are scary and some parts are fun. Always remind yourself, it's only a dream and everything will be okay. I had a dream about being in a forest too. Check it out, my pet Petey was with me. Order your copy of Kayla Petey and the Forest on Amazon today.
Hey family, it's King Simon, the founder of Numerovation. Remember, if you want to book a session with me and get a Numerovation consultation, all you have to do is text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. And if you want any of my books, go to linktree/King Simon the Numerovator. That's King Simon the Numerovator. And your books are available on Amazon. Remember, I'm the El Numero Uno, the Numerovator himself. And if you want to book a session, all you have to do is text me. Make sure you get my books on Amazon. I love you. Peace.
Okay. Illuminati Congo, you good, my brother?
Yeah, Brethren, I'm happy. How you?
Man, I'm great. I'm absolutely great. I'm in the A now. I'm in Georgia now. Yeah, I'm in
I gotta
Georgia
get up
now.
with you. I plan on getting down there. I still ain't kicked it down there.
Oh yeah? Oh
Yeah.
man. Where you at? You in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Right. You with Chicago Crypto.
Yep.
Around his way, huh? Okay.
Yep.
Shout out to Chicago Crypto.
For
My
sure.
brother Amir. But listen, man, Illuminati Congo, you've been on this platform before. I called you early today, matter of fact. And I was inspired by a post you put on Instagram, and you had let me see if I could show this to the people right now. I want to show y'all something right now. Let me see if I could. Can you see this, Illuminati?
Yeah.
So you had a post on Lucifer, the light bringer, and the post said Lucifer, the light bringer, in the eyes, and you got the sigil of Lucifer, and it looks identical to the model of optical function and crossing of brain hemispheres. So once I got into metaphysics, my brother, I've learned that the Bible deals a lot with, I think the word is physiology. Is that the word?
Yeah. Physiology, anatomy. Yep.
Anatomy, and a lot of the things and people that they name in the body is actually processes that happen inside of the body.
Yeah.
So, I've heard a lot of things about first of all, Lucifer. The word Lucifer scares the hell out of a lot of us who are Christian. When we hear Lucifer, devil, even the word Damien is scary.
Right.
Say the word Damien is scary. So, automatically people get triggered when they see the word Lucifer. Now, we've been lied to a lot. I know you ain't no evil brother. I ain't no evil brother. So if you're dealing with the word Lucifer, you ain't coming with no crazy shit. You coming with some science or something that we've been lied to about. So I said, I need this brother to explain what he's talking about to my audience, to my family, and to my crowd and my listeners. So, brother, I showed that first picture.
Yeah.
I guess we could start out with, maybe you could first explain who exactly is Lucifer, and who and what were they talking about in the Bible? And maybe you could go into that picture a little bit before we go into some other things.
Well, Lucifer is only mentioned one time
Mm.
in the whole Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That name is only said once in the whole Bible, in the book of Isaiah. Uh, let me see. I think it's Isaiah chapter 12, verse 14. Let me look it up real quick. Quiz Nick. And we get that verse 14:12. Yeah. Chapter 14:12. It says, "How art thou fallen from heaven,
Mm-hmm.
O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which did which didst weaken the nations?" So that's in the whole verse carries on speaking about Lucifer. The whole chapter, or at least a good portion of it, talks about Lucifer there. But that's the only place that it mentions Lucifer. And so that's one thing to be cognizant of, that we only have one verse to get any type of understanding from the Bible what Lucifer is. Now, it says son of the morning. Venus has also been called the bright morning star, and Lucifer has also been associated with this Venus as well. If you look at that sigil that we were looking at, you can also follow it through to form a 5-point star. Uh, it's pretty much, uh, you can trace it, and if the angles were done slightly differently, it could form a perfect 5-point star as well, which we can touch on that in a minute, because that relates back to the serpent. But when we're talking about Lucifer, there's so many words. I had to write a bunch of them down earlier today, because there's so many words that relate to that root, Luke, in Lucifer. You have Lux, of course, like loaded Lux. That's light. You have luck. You have luxury. You have look, look. So this is very important to what we're talking about here, because this is the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about the eyes and look,
Mm-hmm.
and there would be no looking without the light.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucifer is said to be the light bringer,
Mm-hmm.
and there would be no ability to see without that lateral, the contralateral organization of the eyes that was shown in that diagram there. So Lucifer definitely relates to the eyes to some extent. uh I think I have another uh one that I sent you, another Bible verse relating to the eye being single, and the the eyes being the light of the soul, or something like that.
Let me see.
Do I see it down there yet? I don't see it at the bottom. Uh
The brain and the release of the soul.
so I sent you two different emails. So did you get both of them?
Oh no, you know what? I just seen the last one.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. You might want to get it's probably in the first one. We'll skip over that for a sec.
Okay.
You could let's go back to some of these words related to Lucifer though, because I stopped at look.
Mm-hmm.
The next one I had was a Sanskrit word, loka, which
Mm-hmm.
means worlds. In
Mm-hmm.
Sanskrit, the lokas are are the worlds. Then I wrote loose and lose, and also Lakshmi. Lakshmi. Lakshmi means luck. She's the goddess of luck, and luck is also in the word Lucifer as well. We have lucrative.
Mm.
Lucrative is a good thing. We have lucid. We
Lucy.
lucid.
No, I just said Lucy. That's
Oh,
oh yeah,
you
like
talk.
that's
You, which Lucy you talking about? The
they post
monkey
the
or the
first.
movie?
They said Lucy. When did they say Lucy was the first black woman? They called the first the bones of the first black woman. What?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yes, in Ethiopia or something. For sure. It's interesting that they decided to use that name. And
Mm-hmm.
so, first of all, before we get too deep into any of these things, it's good to point out that all of these connections, these are just contemplations. There's no uh like absolute meaning
Mm-hmm.
in what we're saying now. We're saying these things in order, if there's anything that we contemplate that can sort of improve or help our life, then we utilize it. But if it's like, yo, this it's just nonsense to me, that's okay, because all words to an extent are pretty much nonsense. And I always have to make this disclaimer before I start speaking, because words are just another way of speaking our inner illusions, illumining the illustration of what's within. So
Mm-hmm.
I just want to make that disclaimer. So what does this say? What is the great saying right here?
Lucifer, Old English, Lucifer, Satan, also morning star, Venus in the morning, sky before sunrise, also an epithet or name of Diana, from Latin, Lucifer, morning star, noun use of adjective, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. What I also want to ask you, shout out to the great for putting that there. A question that I seen earlier was actually one of my questions that somebody asked. I seen somebody ask in the chat, and this is like a main question everybody will have is, what's the difference between Lucifer, Satan, and the devil? Like, who's the bad guy? There's a bad guy somewhere, according to all of us. And who's the bad guy? And did all of them get combined into one bad guy? Talk to me about that.
So I can't necessarily sit and make a bunch of distinctions. I know what the origins of the words mean, uh, but people use these names to ascribe different things. So Satan Satan means the adversary. I think the in one of the things I sent you, you might be able to pull it up if you was able to get the uh, other emails in too. But Satan means adversary. Then you have diabolos, diabolos, which
Mm-hmm,
is uh, Greek for the devil. And
mm-hmm,
it's so interesting because double, if I say double, 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 double enough, it sounds like double. If I
mm-hmm,
say Diablo, Diablo enough, it sounds like double.
mm-hmm,
The double, the devil, the double is the illusion of the two that is brought about by these two eyes. And
mm-hmm,
when we see from the first eye, when your eye is single, like the
mm-hmm,
verse that I wanted you to pull up, when your eye is single, it says that the light of your soul will shine forth. So I forget what the scripture says, but
mm-hmm,
we're admonished to make our eye single in the Bible.
mm-hmm,
Now, when you go all the way back to the Genesis, when there was them trees,
mm-hmm,
most people only talk about the tree with an apple, where we don't even know that there was an apple on it, but they only talk about that tree, and they say that people ate from that. But that was called the tree of knowledge of
mm-hmm,
good and evil.
mm-hmm,
It was called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which is left in the right hemisphere. It is the duality, and that's the one that the serpent allegedly inspired or tricked Eve into eating.
Mhm.
Now, when the serpent did that, he said, "Do this, and you will be like God. You'll be like God." And that's also what they say that Lucifer in this verse in the Bible, where it's talking about Lucifer. It says, "For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregations." Uh, so basically, when when you're getting caught up in the two, in the Diablo, in the Diablos, and the devil,
And the double.
in the
Hmm.
devil,
Hmm.
you're eating of that tree of the knowledge of good and evil instead of the other tree,
Mm.
which is the tree of life.
Hmm.
The tree of life was the one that God said, you could have that one. Go ahead, eat that one all the time. Just don't fuck with the, just don't get caught in duality.
Hmm.
But we had to get caught in duality because that's the only way we would be able to realize that duality ain't where it's at.
Hmm.
There is a play of duality, and we
Hmm.
wouldn't have known that without eating from the
Right.
tree of knowledge of good and evil. But oneness is the tree of life.
It's powerful. That's why the Bible says, "Be in this world, but not of it." You don't want to get too much caught up in the illusion of the double division, the eyes. That's deep.
That's it.
And the eyes, what's powerful is that the metaphysical quantum physics are now saying, well, they've been saying, but people are now realizing that the eyes are projectors. We're not seeing, we're actually projecting, just like in a movie, on a movie theater, you got the projector lens, and the projector lens is in the back, and it projects the movie on the silver screen. So our eyes is like that projector lens, and the silver screen is our reality. So that makes total sense what you're saying. It all goes in together, brother. It
And
totally all goes in a set going together.
and so it was the serpent.
Mm-hmm.
Uh I don't know if the serpent, what the serpent was called back then, if they was calling it the devil, but it was called the serpent.
Mm-hmm.
In our language, serpent has a pent at the end. Pent, like pentagram, pentagon. Uh, and that's very important, that five, because inside of that 5 point star is where they say that evil rights to magic to Satan is done, and people, they'll put an upside down 5 point star and say that there's evil contained within this, just because the star is upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the word repent is where you take the pent. Well, Jesus said the science of repentance is what I came to teach you. And repentance is to make 180-degree turn. So, say if you have the 5 point star upside down, if you do
Mm-hmm.
a 180-degree turn, it's right side up.
Mm-hmm.
And this pent that we're talking about here is also related to Pan, to Pan the goat man. Uh, when we talk about Pan, Pan can mean five, but Pan also means one.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we say Pan African or Pangea, we're talking about one. It was all one land.
Mm-hmm.
Or Pan means one and five. Uh, so the symbology of Baphomet is often linked with that five as well. You see that the 5 point star on his head. Uh, so you're asking, what is the connection between all of these different? Is Satan and Beelzebub, are these the same things? Well, in demonology, they would be different things. They would be different entities. that you call upon for whatever reasons. But in the innermost esoteric, we understand it all as aspects of our own self. These are all aspects of our own being. It's not like uh, there's some entities running around outside, because once again it's all mind. And so when you really look at uh, begin to contemplate what is the devil, what is the dark side, what is the occult. Well, we know the occult means hidden. The occult is all that's hidden. The dark side is our subconscious. The occult is our own subconscious. And when we can go into those regions of our own mind, the hidden regions, without fear, the things that we may suppress and repress, that's where we can really meet these entities that people are talking about, and come to see that they're not outside entities. They're actually parts of ourselves. Maybe you got an image that I have of Set Heru in there, of with Set coming out of the back uh, head of Horus.
Let me see. I
Oh,
don't
there
think
it is. There's one. It's all the way on the end.
this one right here.
Yeah, yeah. And so Set has been said. They say that the word Satan can also be related to Set. And here we see in Egypt they would depict Set coming out of the medulla oblongata and the reptilian brain region of Heru.
Yeah.
So that's the uniting of the two, of God and Lucifer, of Set and Heru, of Satan and Allah. Why do you make them one? Because they was always one. There was never two. The two was the lie. The eating of the tree of the knowledge of the good and evil, that was the light. That was the light. Did I say lie?
Or
Or did
light.
I say light?
I like that one. Yo, I like that one. Did I say lie or did I say light? I like that one, brother. Okay. Woo! The light is a lie. Oh shit. Wow. Go ahead, brother. I like that one.
So this is, and that relates to illusion too, to the same thing of illumin, illumin, illusion. It has the root of ilu. Uh, and there's so many different ways that people go about their belief system. So some people will say El and Ilu, or that those same roots as a Canaanite god related to Baal in its evil. Some will say El is all good, that it's related to El Shaddai and Makael. And so you have all these different people that ascribe what, based on whatever information they found, different properties and powers to El, Satan, Lucifer, all these words. And none of it has any absolute truth. The meaning that we give to the devil, to Satan, it's telling us about our own psychology. And it's telling us about where we need to work in our consciousness, what we got to work on, what we believe, and how we think about Satan. The blame, like you heard of a scapegoat before? Devil's the goat. They say devil's the, they make devil the shape of a goat. And what's a scapegoat? The fool who get all the blame. And that's what's going on. There's We have this shit hidden within our dark side, within our subconscious, and we're looking for someone, something to blame for when things are going wrong, for when people are acting a fool. But if we really began to understand what what is the inception of these misalignments that get repressed and suppressed into our unconscious, we will see that it has nothing to do with an outside uh, thing, because really this is philosophical, but there is no outside things if all is mind. If all is mind, there's no outside things. We're just viewing and making stories up about our own self as we look upon it. And so it's looking, the way we look upon things will either have you in an anti-life, an anti-harmony realm, or in a harmonious realm. And here's one thing that's funny. Remember when Satan was stalking Jesus on the mountain or somewhere and said, I give you all of this. I give you all of this shit if you just worship me, or something like that. And Jesus was like, nah, F all that. He was like, get behind me, Satan. He said, get behind me, Satan. But here's the thing. If I was like, yo, Brother Rich, I need you to get behind me. Get behind me, brother. Can you get behind me on this? What does that mean? That means, can you support me? Can you get behind me on this mission I'm on, brother? That's what he told Satan. He said, Satan, get behind me. And it's like that picture we was just looking at, with Jesus and Satan coming out the back of his neck.
Let me ask you, why do you think the Bible was written the way it was written, in terms of, we grow up and we think these characters all existed. Maybe they were external characters and their processes that happen in the body. But when did we start thinking that this was all external deities, and we stopped thinking that these were things that were going on inside of us? How did this happen?
I don't know when and how it happened, but it seems like it's the same trick of the look, the same trick of how we look at things, and gazing outside instead of within. I think we got tricked by the light. Like when we spent time in darkness properly and do the dark rituals where we're blindfolded for a certain amount of time, days or whatever, we begin to see the processes in our own body. The inner eye begins to wake up. Not even just this eye. This is the other thing. These the tricky eyes. The melanin, them eyes. When you walk into a room and it's dark, you ever just like attempt to use your periphery, because you can't even really see if you try to focus with these eyes. But if you let these eyes go a little more relaxed and see from the eyes of the melanin, you could step around more and maneuver around more. There's eyes in each molecule of melanin that can see, and it's explained like this as similar to eyes in some of the ways that certain scientists explain their research.
Indeed. What do you so talk to me about the horns? What do you think? Because every time we think of Lucifer or Satan or the devil, we envision this red man with this red deity or entity with these horns. So where does the red come from, and where does the horns come from? How does that get assigned to Lucifer or the devil?
The red probably come from the root chakra, probably come from that root, probably come from blood. The
Mhm.
horns, the horns is an interesting thing because I could pull up uh, a scripture of Moses where Moses was came down from the mountain. They say he had horns after he received the commandments. So in Ethiopia, there's images of Moses with horns. We have images of sacred people rocking horns. You could think to Het Heru and some of the cow uh, deities as well that would rock the horns. The horns is a it's definitely related to the goat and most likely related to Capricorn uh, to some extent, and the ability to scale, uh, to ascend and scale these mountains like a mountain goat.
Mhm. Mhm.
So the mountain would be the spine. Like Mount Meru has been known as the spine, Mount Zion known as the spine, Mount Olympus known as the spine. So when we're talking about the Capricorn, uh, the goat climbing up this mountain, that's what we're referring to, and that's why when Moses came down the mountain, he had horns. Uh, Another thing is, every almost every person who attempts to do something good, they do get scapegoated. They do get called like evil or devil or something at some point. They get accused at some point. Uh, and I think the horns are very much related just to this scapegoat, because as what was the name of the goat that there was like two goats that was sacrificed in the Hebrew tradition. I'm not
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm
I'm
not
not
sure.
super well versed in it, but that was part of the ancient tradition where they was sacrificing these goats uh, to be the payment for the sins of the people. That's where the scapegoat came from.
Mhm. Mhm. Indeed. So, in terms of Lucifer, and in terms of now, didn't they say Lucifer or Satan or whoever wasn't that God's brightest angel who
Yeah,
betrayed God?
that's what they say. That's what I heard. But I look in the Bible and I don't I don't find Lucifer's name linked with that story. But the story is that he was the praise angel, and that he was able to he made the most wonderful music, and in that's why now that he's on earth ruling over things, that people, that music is one of the main ways that he influenced people with the evil music. Pull up one of those pictures. I think it's the world and the a map of the earth in the shape of a brain inside a
Okay,
head.
let me see. Let me see. Let me see. All right, let's get this on the screen.
Yes,
Uh,
yeah, that's the one.
which one is it?
No, no,
No,
it's
it's
that first
the
one.
first one.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's a little hard to see just because. There you go. So that's an old map. Who made that one? Professor Renee something. It's an interesting map, to say the least. Even if we ain't even talking about the brain, just to see some of the names that's given on there. Uh, but that it's in the shape of a brain. Isn't the world is in the shape of the brain, and it's said that Lucifer was fell to the earth to become the Lord of this earth. And so, is this what we're talking about here? That Lucifer, these eyes are the Lord of this brain. That's the Lord of the world right now, is people's senses. That's what they make the Lord of the world, instead of uniting the integration. uh, it's time to re-bring Satan, Lucifer, all of the things that we've made wrong and separated from the divine. It's time to bring it back. So in the you heard of your cities, Melech Taus,
No.
the peacock angel.
Okay.
uh, so the peacock angel is known as Lucifer in the Yazidi tradition, and they basically say that there was this angel that went down to heaven, and I mean went down to hell. He got cast out of heaven down to hell, and while he was in hell, he repented for 7,000 years, just crying, and his tears blotted out all the fires of hell. And through that, he was able to save everyone from ever having to be burned in hell. And his name is Melech Taus. But a lot of people call him Lucifer. The people who ain't a part of their religion, they say, no, that's like Muslims. They call Melech Tausi Lucifer. And I think it's a very sublime story to see how Melech Taus, or an archetype very similar to Lucifer, was able to be responsible for helping save people from hell, like as if they say what Jesus did. They say Jesus saved people from hell.
Mm-hmm.
But in this tradition, a character very similar to Lucifer, often called Lucifer, saved people from hell. And I think that it's important for us to integrate Lucifer back into oneness with God in our own thinking, rather than in this eternal fight with God.
I've heard people that are into that deal with the Bible being a book of physiology. They make a correlation between Lucifer and phosphorus.
Mm-hmm.
Could you talk about Lucifer? And for those who don't know what phosphorus is, you get phos and then you get Horus. Talk about the correlation between Lucifer and the phosphorus in our body.
Uh, I can't really speak much on it. I had something for that. Let me see.
What? Well, you want to go to the next question if you want to get back to this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's the somebody in the chat wrote? What's the 'cause I believe in the Bible. Somebody wrote, and I believe I remember this being in the Bible. Jesus and Lucifer had the same title as being the light bringer. So why would they refer to both of them? Are they the same being ultimately in the Bible? Jesus and Lucifer?
In the esoteric sense, yes. In the esoteric, because when we're talking esoteric or occult, we got to go to the innermost place first. And where is that? That's within, and in that place is one. In When people start constructing beliefs, though, based on eating of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, Lucifer and Jesus, they split. So if Lucifer and Jesus ain't one for a person, like that Set Heru picture that we was looking at, then they're probably still eating of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil instead of the tree of life, which is just oneness.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Let's get to some Q&A from the people. Family, give me some questions for the brother Illuminati Congo. I see the chat is very, very, very busy tonight. And I know this is an important topic. You know, we've been lied to so much. We're uncovering and unpacking a lot of lives and discovering a lot of truths. And we're sharing truths with each other and we're figuring this thing out and we're seeing what resonates with us. You know, family. So I definitely appreciate the chat. Y'all booming in the chat. I
One
thank you
thing,
for your participation. Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Prometheus, I found this interesting. Prometheus means fourth, uh, forethinking, like thinking of afore, aforehand. Uh, and Prometheus is the one who they say stole the light, stole the fire from God and or from the gods to bring it to the humans so they could have fire. And he has a similar role as Lucifer in the Greek mythology. Uh, it's just interesting that Lucifer also has this four in it as well. Uh, when they talk about the Prometheus is the means the etymology is the forward thinking or to think ahead. You could almost see that in the word Lucifer because the four in Lucifer is links up with a forehand and the loose is the light. The luck is the light of the mind, of the thinking. You see, there's no things without thoughts. There's no thing without a thought. But there's also no thing without light because you can't see the things without a light. You can't, nothing would even come into existence if it didn't come through the light, sound, vibration. And so when we look at it all, it does seem as if Prometheus, the light bringer or the fire bringer, uh, is very similar to our Luciferian nature.
Is Jesus, can you is there any correlation between Jesus and Zeus? I see somebody wrote Jesus is Zeus equals Zeus. Do you know anything about that?
It certainly sounds like it the way it. So when we look at the past, I don't know what happened in the past. I have a personal way that I connect with what that what that energy and time was related to Christ, and it's just my. There's no way I could explain that or needs to be explained to anybody.
Mm.
Uh, but Chris, the karas comes from the mummy in the wrapped mummy form in Egypt. Jesus, nobody used to say that word. This just came from nowhere. Uh, there's words like Isa, Ayesas, Ayesa, Yeshua. Those were probably more connected to that original name. So was there some type of desire to wrap Zeus into the name? I've always thought that it was. I always thought that it was, but I don't know.
Mm. All right. Well, yeah. Let's get to the next question. They want to know the meaning of 666. Do you are you?
This that seems like it's related to the carbon of our body.
Mm.
Uh, there's six protons, six electrons in each atom of carbon, and so it could very much be related to all organic life. All organic life has that code as its chemical. Uh, but why is life? Why is it made to be evil? Why is 666 made evil? Well, I think things have been flipped around a lot. When we read the Bible, The point is to read it and contemplate a meaning for yourself rather than try to figure out what somebody was saying back then. I mean, you could try to figure out what someone was saying back then, but the Bible's a book of magic. Like, people still use it to this day. They read the Psalms for magic spells to this day. And so there's so many ways to use the scripture. The best way that I've found is a way that's most personal for you. So if you're looking for the meaning of anything from outside, uh, it's always going to be weak. It's when we start building our own meanings from within of the things we're reading. That's when we have magic force to use what we're utilizing.
Indeed. What is there's something I was just about to ask you. Well, talk to me about real quick. Do you know anything about, we're talking about saying that people associate, we're talking about Lucifer. People automatically associate Lucifer with Satan, and
Right.
people say that Satan is really Saturn.
Right.
Do you know anything about the connection between Satan and Saturn?
For sure. So Satan is said to be an adversary. That's what the meaning of it in Hebrew. And in our own consciousness, well, first of all, let's go to the word Sat in Sanskrit first. Sat means truth. Uh, and as much as people think the devil is a lie, uh, the truth is where the devil is at. Because if the devil's a lie, why would he be a lie unless the truth was there? There would be no need to lie unless it was trying to veil the truth. And so you got to go to the devil to find the truth. We got to go through Lucifer because without this experience, like, we have eyes now, we have these dualities now, we have this experience of Diablo now. So unless you are able to go face the devil, see that it ain't a thing, and then integrate it, get behind me, grow grow out my medulla oblongata, uh rest over there. It's like the cartoon How to Train Your Dragon. You gotta train that dragon. And then y'all could fly it. And then y'all be kicking it. Y'all could do anything y'all need to do once you train the dragon.
So separation is probably the biggest trick in humanity is separation, huh?
Yeah. So there's a great benefit and value of separation because
It's a gift and a curse, huh? What you think?
yeah, we have to know how to utilize it and view it. That's all. When we get caught in the separation and in duality, then it's no longer a tool. It's no longer. It's like playing with our toys. If you playing with some toys and you get so into it that you forget that you even playing anymore, you start arguing with the next kids you playing with, and get into fights and stuff, and start trying to take the toy from the next kid, and it's like, yo, just remember it. The goal of playing was to play and to have fun.
We'll get to the next question. Somebody said it was said Lucifer was casted out the heavens for his unauthorized creation of the Caucasian. What's your take? Now, I've heard people associate the devil with Yakub before, the whole
Mhm.
Yakub story. So, what's your take on that?
Uh, I think it's a good contemplation. I don't uh in in the way that I see it. So maybe Lucifer was bringing the light to the Caucasians. Maybe that's what the because the all we have to go on with Lucifer is the one verse in the scripture, and then taking the etymology of the name,
Mm-hmm.
and so any other various stories. I mean, there are stories in Islam as well, of Iblis, and uh, that's a whole. In the Sufi tradition, it gets really expressive, and to contemplate Iblis or Shaitan from that perspective, uh, is more of a deep meditation than like, oh no, this Satan, he's evil. It's like, nah, you sit and meditate about the whole story. And so the what you asked is it's a good thing to meditate on, about how that could have happened, and why that became a story.
Mm. Somebody wants to know: are there any female angels? If not, why not?
I think on the angelic level, it might not even be like that. I think they already.
The androgynous, you mean? Like,
Yeah. I don't know if they necessarily are doing that. But then on the other hand, you have where they said the Nephilim, and they say that these was angels, but then
mm,
they said they got down with the daughters of men, and so all of them, according to that story, would have been men, angels, if they was getting down with the daughters on the earth. Uh, but no, when it comes to angels, very often they feel feminine. Very often their presence feels like it has a feminine presence. So I wouldn't doubt that they have an androgynous type of thing about them, because it's not even a person like us, that from the way that I know, it's more of a it's an entity and an energy, but it don't exist on a plane of generation where it
mm,
needs genitalia.
indeed. So before we get out of here, let me check out some of these slides you shared with me.
Yeah, let's see what we could run through.
We seen this one already.
Hmm.
What's this right here? First of all, is
That's
this from a certain book that the people could check out? Is this from the
Yeah,
same, what book is this?
this is man, grand symbol of the mysteries.
That's the name of it?
Yep, by Manly P. Hall.
Okay. All right, so this one right here, the brain in the form of an embryo. Talk to me about this one here.
So I put that in there because that should look hella reptilian.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a reptilian brain as well right there at the back. And that's another one of the archetypes that people associate with the devil, is reptilian and serpentine forms. And so I thought it would be good to see uh, how the brain, also just to see this spiral, in the brain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's that letter G that's inside of the square and compass. It's the
Mm,
same thing.
it's powerful. Deep. Let's get to the next one. What's this here? Though the Yazidis would disagree, others in the Arabic world, particularly those practicing Islam, equate Melech Tos with Lucifer or Satan. Kabbalistically, Yahweh rules in the heavenly spiritual kingdom of Keter, and Malik Taz, Lucifer Azazel, rules in the earthly kingdom of Malkuth.
So that's
What's
what we were
yeah?
talking about a little before about that peacock angel.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and once again, his symbology, peacocks, you look at their tail, they have a whole bunch of eyes in them, the whole bunch of eyes inside of the tail of the peacock. And that is actually one of the main reasons the peacock is so much associated with this angel, because the Yazidi people experience communion with the angel through a universal expression of eyes of Melek Taus. And
Indeed.
yeah.
All right, let's get to the next one. You talked about Prometheus.
The foresight, there it goes.
Yeah. Let's and this is
Oh, well, take that back to the foresight real quick,
okay.
because that's even better. Sight is like light, and four is four, light four, lucid four, sight four. That foresight is Prometheus is the same name as Lucifer. We go here to the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
That's
they're just breaking down
mm-hmm.
into the roots of the word.
Men.
That's interesting. Men is the root where they say that the Metis Prometheus came from. But
Mm-hmm.
here's what's so interesting: men means mind and thought.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Man means mind and thought.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Just some
Does,
knowledge.
does mind come from moon? Is moon and mind related? Isn't that related?
From moon, like mundane mandala. What does mundane? What does that means? The world,
Yeah.
the mandala, the mind. The mind is the world. So when we're talking about the Lord of this world, Satan is the Lord of Lucifer is the Lord of this world. Lucifer is the Lord of your mind. Your senses have become the Lord of your mind, and until you make Satan get behind you and only be supporting you instead of being your guide.
Mm.
Until then, there's gonna be some splits, some dichotomies going on.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next thing?
The next
It's
one,
still related to that
before thinker.
Prometheus.
Yeah, and we already did this one here. And this one here, demon. This is the last one that we didn't go over.
Okay. So look at that. It says now it's saying at first incubus, a devil, but look down a little further. One's genius, lot or fortune. Huh? Huh? One's genius, lot, or fortune. And also, what else does it say? It says a divine power, a guiding spirit. So totems would be demons, imaginary friends, demons, your own original ideas that spark you to put together a meme where you find this sigil of Lucifer and find this thing in the eyes. That's a demon. The shit in you that makes you is a demon.
Mm.
Your genius is a demon.
Wow. Okay. And I think this is the one on the this is the last one I got.
And that
This is deep, about how Lucifer, the light bringer, the sigil is actually, it's a like a direct representation of what's a process going on in our brain hemispheres. So they say, so Illuminati, they say, we talked about the eyes being projector lenses. They say we see from the back of our brain. There's a space in the back of our brain, and that's what we're actually seeing. Billy Carson often talks about this spot in the brain often waits. Our senses goes out and experiences the world, and it sends a message to our brain. And David Icke talks about this also through vibration or waveform energy. The brain interprets this and it translated into like an electric form of energy that we could see. So we're actually seeing, all we're seeing is vibes. I'm seeing your vibes, you seeing my vibes. We're constantly seeing vibes represented as objects, people, beings, whatever. But these are just vibes that we are seeing that our brain is interpreting from our senses. So
Yeah,
it's a deep concept.
yeah, we're only seeing thoughts. That's
Mm,
when you say vibes. So, a vibration. So energy is all that's here, that's everywhere. And when we're seeing vibes, anything that is vibrating, something had to make it vibe. Something had to make it vibrate. Because if it's energy, it just is neutral. Nothing's gonna make it vibrate. The mind is what makes it vibrate. But what we think, that's they say thoughts are things. So all the things that we're seeing are vibes, vibrations created by thought. We're only seeing thought everywhere,
mm, mm,
everywhere. And so if how we're thinking about what we see and how we're seeing about what we think leads us into a place that doesn't empower us, we was the one who possessed ourself
mm, mm,
and became our own poltergeist.
mm. Okay. 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 Mhm. Let me ask you this real quick. Jay's Fit Life said, so we can call on demons for creative help.
So
That's a scary question for a lot of people. So
it is. And I wouldn't call on anything outside of me for creative help. But anything that is within you, and remember, we're only seeing mind, we're only seeing thought.
yeah.
Where does our mind end? It doesn't end anywhere, it's everywhere. So
Mm,
we're only seeing something that's in us whenever we see anything. And if we call upon a demon for create, that's what Solomon used to do. And Solomon fucked himself up. So how 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 did Solomon mess himself up uh at those times? Solomon messed himself up because when you call on these things, and remember that they're all within us, but if you're eating, if you're putting things in your body uh that aren't serving you, whether it's things you hearing or looking at or eating, these things will combine with whatever else you're calling on from within yourself and can be detrimental. And oftentimes when people are in very rich situations, they live very lavishly. They begin to forget sobriety, how to just moderation. And so I would say, yeah, you can utilize all of those things, but when you eat and you think and you hearing fucked up things and watching things that aren't building uh building on your true will, building on your intention, those things can be what sort of triggers those repressed parts of us in our subconscious to affect us in a poor way. They're not going to affect us if we're eating well, if we're doing fasting, if we're doing connected breath, if you're doing yoga and then connecting to your shadow, you'll be able to get past the shadow. But if you ain't doing those things, you'll get stuck there, and there might be some cycles of the dark night of the soul.
Dude. We about to get out of here, my brother. I definitely appreciate you for being on here. This is a very it's a controversial topic to discuss for a lot of people. It's very
For sure.
triggering. It's very triggering to a lot of people. It's very emotional to a lot of people, and a lot of people, they're like, "Yo, I hope he don't say the wrong thing." I ain't trying to worship no Lucifer. Don't tell me Lucifer is good. Is good. Please don't say that. But I love the way you articulated yourself in terms of explaining the process that happens in the human body, and the how duality and separation and the senses can be very tricky. And you talked about the light and the lie, and it was just something that I want to go back over, my brother. So I want to thank you once again for being on here.
Yeah,
And could
thank
you
you.
leave contact information for anybody who may want to contact you for more information, my brother?
Yes, indeed. So I'm on Instagram and Twitter. It's all at Illuminati Congo. Uh, just like my name there, but just one word. On Spotify with music. I got books on Amazon, but they under a different name. John Hooks, JAHNHOOKS. Go into a lot of etymology and books, and I got some comedic books. So go check them joints out. I need to send you a couple actually,
Indeed, yeah, yeah.
Rich. I
Please,
ain't got none to you yet.
please, please, please,
Uh,
please.
but thank you for letting me talk my mess. I'm not an expert on any of this stuff. I just like to contemplate it. I like to talk about it. I got a crazy library, and it's something I live it, but I'm not an expert at all. So it's just good to be able to converse and let me roll off the top with some of this
Mm.
foolishness.
Now, I absolutely love your Instagram. I would definitely recommend everybody to follow him on Instagram, Illuminati Congo. The brother always has thought-provoking content on there. So yeah, definitely. You're definitely a free thinker. You're definitely a free thinker, somebody who gets downloads information, and you don't have to study it or know how to articulate it. You just put it out there for the world to discuss. And I
Mhm.
love that about your Instagram. You just put things out there for us to discuss, not necessarily that it's true or if it's false. It's for us to take it to the next level. So I definitely
That's right.
appreciate what you do on the Instagram platform. Family, this is Brother Rich, Black Magic 363, aka Father Rich. And Illuminati Congo. Thank you, my brother. We getting out of here. We'll see you next
Thank
time,
you.
brother. And tell me when
Peace.
you in the A, my brother. I
I
definitely gotta
will.
link up with you. All
I
right.
will. We still got track to do, man.
Yes, sir. Me,
Yes,
you, and
indeed.
Cambody. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
indeed.
Peace, family.
Peace.